sports, her life.
This is Her Why.
Here's your host, Lauren McClain.
Welcome to Her Why, where we celebrate the women who make BYU sports great. Today's guest is BYU Softball standout Lily Owens. Lily is a senior from Chino Hills, California, and has been a key contributor on the softball team. She began her collegiate career at Lehigh University, where she earned Patriot League Rookie of the Week honors 4 times. And after transferring to BYU, Lily quickly established herself as an offensive force for the Cougars. She was awarded all Big 12 first-team honors in 2025, where she led the team in base percentage, runs, and stolen bases. She's now entering her final season as a Cougar and leading the team on and off the field. Lily, thank you so much for being here with me.
Thank you for having me.
Has it soaked in that this is your last season playing collegiate softball?
Not fully. I am aware that this is it, but it's not totally hitting me yet.
Yeah.
So we'll see when season actually starts.
You're about to start your senior season. How do you prepare yourself mentally to play your last season of softball?
I think this year mentally is a lot easier than the previous years. This is more of this is all I got, so just leave it all on the field and have fun. So that's kind of what I've been doing to prepare.
So you feel like it's less pressure than in previous seasons?
A little bit.
But you're also kind of the top of the top dog too. That's got to feel kind of nice, right?
I didn't really check on stats or anything like that. I kind of checked on everything when I was getting our media team would tell me things, and then I'd be like, oh, there we go. That's cool. But throughout the season, I wasn't really checking. I was kind of just playing the game and having fun.
Before we dive into more softball questions, I have to ask, your bio mentions that you were on the news in 2nd grade for accidentally burning down your house. You got to tell me that story.
Yes. So my brother and I were sharing a room at the time at our house in Whittier, and it was an older model house, so the electricity wasn't the best, and I had a bunch of stuff plugged into a power surge in my room right up against a wicker basket, and it just sparked and kind of blew up, and then it set our room on fire and burned the whole upstairs of the house down.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
How old were you?
2nd grade-ish, so maybe 8.
Oh, you poor thing.
Yeah. Yeah. A little scary. A little scary at the time.
That is scary.
Yeah.
How has that story followed you around throughout your life? Do a lot of people know about that?
Well, when I go to any kind of interview, that is always a question. I think it was the funniest thing that people see on my bio. Whenever they read it, they're like, what are you talking about? But I recently showed my teammates the actual news clip of me, and they all kind of fell out laughing about it. I was just so young and goofy looking.
And were you on the news? They interviewed you?
I was. My brother actually was the one who saved us. And I say that in quotes as a sibling to not give him credit. But he was the one that got us all out of the house at the time. So they kind of interviewed him, and I was just a side character. They didn't really know it was me who started that.
And he's your younger brother.
He is.
So how old was he at the time?
He was 7. We're 15 months apart.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he got everybody out. That's amazing. Well, I'm glad it all turned out well. Something you can
Yes.
joke about. That's a good thing.
Yes.
Tell me more about your family. What was it like growing up in Chino Hills, California?
It was great. In my house, it was myself, my brother, my mom, and my grandmother. And they were 2 of the strongest women I've ever been able to be around in my entire life. So it was great. I had a great upbringing. I spent a lot of time actually in the LA school district. I actually went to school out in West Covina, La Puente area. So softball was kind of just Chino Hills, and then I'd go to school out in LA.
Okay.
Yeah.
So was it club softball, and then
Yes.
high school is a totally different thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you have one brother, and he
Yes.
runs track now at Cal State Fullerton, which is so fun because you were just mentioning the BYU softball plays there in Fullerton this season. So he gets to come and watch. It's so cool. So you're both obviously extremely athletic growing up. What was your dynamic like being 2 competitors and only 15 months apart?
Massively competitive up until the day we stopped playing basketball together. So even to this day, it is competitive. We can't lift together. We can't go running together because we will compete in everything. My mom has to set a time limit of how long we can bicker about who's the better athlete. It is non-ending. It's constant. We go back and forth every day.
Which is probably why you're both really good athletes. You just pushed each other. Who is the better athlete?
Oh, it's absolutely me. I would never give him that satisfaction just yet. I mean, he's got to prove that he's better than me in something.
Right.
Yeah.
Love it so much. You've said in previous interviews that you grew up Catholic. Your mom is very religious. How has that influenced the way that you've chosen to live your life?
My mom was very fluid in her religion. Like, her belief was always that Christ has pushed us to love one another. And that is her base of who she is and everything that she does. Every person that she runs into, everybody that she talks to, she always leads with love first. And I think her kind of mindset was, I'll never regret being kind to somebody. I'll never not want to reach out and help somebody and to do those things that Christ has asked us to do in our life here on earth. And that has really, really influenced me. I'm definitely not perfect at it. I think she's perfect at it. She would probably say different, but I have always tried to lead my life in that kind of manner and just to always lead with love.
I think that's such a beautiful sentiment, especially in our world that's increasingly being divided, right?
Absolutely.
So to have someone that's trying to unify it with love
Yeah.
is so beautiful.
Yeah.
So speaking of your mom, Alicia, she played softball at Hawaii Hilo.
Yes.
How much did her love for softball affect how much you ended up loving it?
My mom was actually really hands-off with softball. Like, it was my choice to play. I played just about every other sport before I hit softball. And when I started bringing up playing softball, my mom was kind of like, you don't want to stick with basketball? You don't want to keep running track? Like, it was a very last-minute thing, and I started softball pretty late compared to the rest of my teammates and other friends. But growing up, she was very hands-off, and she was really just my sounding board and my support. She had gone through everything. She had been there. She had done it. Like, she was just there to love and support me. And it was never one of those, like, after a rough game, the car ride was always tense. Like, she was just there to give me a hug and to tell me that I was the best player in her eyes no matter what. So it was great. And I genuinely couldn't have had a better experience growing up with softball because it's pushed me to love the game throughout the hard times and not. And, like, I never burned out because of the pressure because she was always there to support me.
I love that. Was there a reason why she was like, hey, would you rather run track? Was she trying to push you away from softball or just making sure you were making your own decision for yourself?
It was really just to make sure that I was making my own decision. My mom always kind of talks about she started softball really, really young and then played all the way through college and everything. And she deals with a lot of arthritis and back issues. She broke her back when she was young. She had some complications with pregnancy and, like, she was told she might not be able to have children because of that. And so for her, it was kind of like, let's just try everything else. And if this is really your decision, I will always be there to support you. But I want this to be 100% on you because I burned out and I don't want you to burn out.
Yeah. How interesting that ended up being the thing that you love, too.
Yeah, exactly.
What's one of the biggest lessons your mom taught you about the game of softball once you decided that you were all in, something that still sticks with you today?
My mom says for everything, it's a lineup of 9. You're never alone, and your teammate is never alone. So be the best teammate you possibly can be because you may not have your game that day, and somebody else will. Be the best teammate you can, and when you do have your game, somebody else won't. Pick them up.
That's really good advice.
It was.
You mentioned that you started a little bit later in life in softball, when some start really young, like your mom. When did you know that you were good enough to take your skills to the next level, to the collegiate level?
I was always back and forth on softball. Like, I would play, like, rec, but then I played, like, other sports with it. I didn't really settle into softball until my freshman year of high school. And that was kind of when I was told, like, hey, you can potentially go and do something with this. I always knew I was going to play a collegiate sport somewhere. Both of my parents were collegiate athletes. So I knew I was going to probably do that, even though my mom was like, I'll support you and pay for college if you don't want to play a sport too.
Wow.
So I always knew that was probably in my future. But when I hit freshman year and my coaches were kind of telling me, like, this is something you can do further, then I kind of realized, like, I want to stick with this.
And you sound like you're just, like, an athlete, period, right? Like, it sounds like you kind of had a lot of options. Was there something besides softball that you considered pursuing?
I always really loved basketball and track. My brother and I grew up playing basketball together, and I always kind of grew up playing with the boys and my brother and things like that. So I really enjoyed that. But once I hit high school, I was kind of like, it's fun, I'll go play with my cousins, but I prefer softball.
After high school, you played at Lehigh University in Pennsylvania. Why did you feel like that spot was a good fit at the time?
I really, again, going back to my mom, has always taught me to like try everything, explore everything. You'll never know unless you try. And at that point, that was a school that was the furthest out of all of my offers. And it had a great academic program. And she was just like, why not? And I thought the same thing. I wanted to go try cross country and see what that was like. And it was a great decision for my first year. I really have no regrets about that. I love Pennsylvania. I think it was a great state. But it was a good decision off of just trying something new.
Right, which can be really scary when you're 18 years old
Exactly.
and going to the other side of the country.
Mm-hmm.
So after your freshman season, what made you decide that you wanted to transfer somewhere else?
It was more off of I wanted to compete at a higher level. I had some setbacks in high school. I was injured my junior year, so I got cut short, and then I didn't really come back until the beginning of my senior year. So by that point, a lot of like money and things like that were gone for my class, and I didn't get to hit my peak or my ceiling at that point. And I wanted to figure out where else I could play and how competitive I could truly be that I knew I could. So I just decided to make the decision to leave and go somewhere that was challenging academically as well as athletically. And the BYU was switching over to the Big 12 when I was coming in. So I thought, what better fit?
You go from Chino Hills to what is it, Bethlehem?
Yep.
To Provo, Utah.
Yes.
So how did BYU even get on your radar at the time?
At the time, we had another coach. His name was Todd Judge, and he was a coach here, and he was somebody that I played against a lot in high school. And he was very similar to my high school coaches, like very tough, very hard, but absolutely loving. And so I was really interested in coming here because he was here as well. And then at the time, my best friend was also the shortstop here. So it was just kind of two people that you care about very deeply are here. And so I picked BYU.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then once you get here, what are your thoughts? Because you have your friend, you have a coach you're familiar with, but then you have this city and this culture.
Yes.
What were your thoughts when you were first trying to assimilate here in Provo?
I really tried to take an open-minded approach to everything that I do. So that was kind of my idea when I came to BYU. I really didn't want to have any prior thoughts or opinions. I just wanted to experience it for myself first and then make my own opinion on it. So I kind of came in, I really didn't know much about the church or anything of that nature. And what I did know maybe wasn't the best. It's very quickly became not true. But I kind of tossed those thoughts to the side and just went in and said, let me figure this out for myself.
You're a brave girl. You've made a lot of brave decisions in your young life. A cool thing is your grandpa played football at BYU for a little bit, like for one season.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Did that influence your decision at all?
It wasn't like a total influence, but my grandmother and my mom were like ecstatic and they were kind of like, this is a sign. He passed away when my mom was younger, so I never got to meet him, but it's a running joke in my family, like a little embarrassing. I'm pretty pigeon-toed, and everybody says like from the back when I walk, like I look just like my grandfather. So everybody was like, this is the reincarnate of Bobby Fresquillo. Like, and now she's going to BYU. So my family thought it was really cool.
So your family was totally supportive when you're like, I'm going to Provo, Utah to Brigham Young University.
My immediate family was very supportive because my immediate family of my mom and my grandmother, like they raised me and they know what they put into all of that. So they knew that me coming here wasn't going to be something detrimental to me whatsoever. I did have extended family members and friends and things like that who were a little skeptical of me coming, but again, I really wanted to be positive about everything that I was experiencing on my own.
Well, now you're in year 3
Yes.
of being with BYU, so you're very familiar with everything. Hopefully everyone's been accepting of where you're at now. What's been your favorite thing about playing at BYU?
I think the religious aspect of everything. I myself am religious, as we talked about earlier. So just being able to be on a team with girls who live their life for a higher purpose as well. And we put that at the forefront of everything we do. Something we talk about as a team is that we play to glorify God. And that is something that I think a lot of people don't get the opportunity to experience. And that's a really beautiful bonding experience amongst the team. And I think that's what propels us to push even harder in a lot of hard issues and in tough times when we play.
Did it ever surprise you at some point in these 3 years how well you were gelling with these girls and people that are from a completely different religious background than you?
Honestly, no. Again, I was kind of the mindset that, like, you love and you're kind, and those who love and are kind back will do the same. And I met some really amazing lifelong friends here who believe in the same thing and practice that. So, no.
You're listed as I love that, by the way. You're listed as a utility player on the roster, which is one of the most demanding positions on the field because you got to be ready to do anything. For fans who might not fully understand what that means, what does being a utility player entail?
It pretty much just means that at any point I can play any position on the field, except for me personally, I could not pitch. Could probably catch if they put me in there. Coach Eakin, if you're listening, this isn't an invitation to have me catch. I probably could, but it's not. But it means I could just play any position on the field.
Okay. So what do you do to develop those skills? Because, that's a lot of different skills. Throwing and catching, obviously, but like infield, outfield, catcher, those are very different. So how do you develop those different skills?
I grew up playing shortstop in the infield, so I played short. I played second base at my first school. When I got here to Lehigh to BYU, I played some third base, and I did that in high school. So now the new position that I've been learning to play is outfield. So growing up playing infield, now learning outfield, and I've just gotten lucky enough to be athletic enough to just kind of move around.
Do you enjoy the challenge of having to be ready for whatever's coming day in and day out?
I do. I actually really love surprises, so I love to be able to just move around and surprise others and just do what I can.
So what's your preference, though? What's your favorite position?
Ooh, I've always really loved infield. I like third base, but within last season, I played primarily center field. I've grown to love the outfield as well. So it's a really close tie. I think outfield might be slightly overshadowing.
Really?
Just a little bit.
Okay. You've already had an impressive career. You were named to Softball American Preseason Top 100, earning all Big 12 first-team honors last season. What goals are you setting for yourself this year, both individually and as a team? Individually,
I try to go into season without like a set goal, like I'm going to be, first team, whatever it is, because the season can shift and be difficult. And, there's a lot of successes in softball that aren't always physical. So for me, I kind of just go into the season thinking that I'm going to just build off of last season. I'm going to be a great teammate. I'm going to get even better at doing that. I'm going to be, a better leader on the field. And now in my senior season, an even better senior leader. So for me, it's just kind of build on what I did last season and continue to, grow on and off the field. And I think as a team, we recently kind of talked about our coach, Coach Allie, had said, practice like you've never won, play like you've never lost. And that was kind of our mentality for this season, is just to go in hard, go and swing, get everything you got. We want to win our conference. We want to go to the postseason. We want to go win a national championship. So all of our goals right there.
You've been playing like that for a long time because you led the team in on-base percentage last season, which is awesome. What's the biggest key to being consistently tough against opposing pitchers?
When I was in high school, I was told once by a coach that there's no such thing as a slump. It's just a timeout for me to be creative, to be successful. So I think that, just off of, on-base percentage, I just try to be creative with my game and use all of my skills and anything that I can to find a way to help the team succeed. Get on, get moved, score runners, whatever it is, that's kind of my goal.
You're now the senior leader on the team, and we were talking before the interview about whether you wanted a coach. And you mentioned you're not as much of a verbal leader, but more of showing. Is that kind of how you are as a leader with your teammates as well?
I've been trying to be a little bit more vocal more recently. I think that it's something that's important to learn eventually. And then at the end of the day, I just try to put everything out in the field and hope that everybody else follows behind.
I loved watching your guys' season last year. I went to a few games, and it just seems like you have so much fun. Like
You do.
I'm like, for a college sport, what's happening, in the dugout? I'm like, they just look like they're having a party back there. How would you describe what the culture of the team is like?
We have a really, really funny team. Like, we've had some really hysterical girls for the past 2 seasons and this season going in. So it's never hard for us to not have fun because there's always something you can have fun in and joke about and play around with. So for us, it's always having fun. Like my sophomore year, we had talked about a word that described the team, and immediately everybody was like, goofy. Like, we just have so much fun on and off the field together.
How does Coach Eakin respond to that? He just roll his eyes like
a little bit. I think at the time he was kind of like hoping for something a little bit more serious out of us, but he kind of rolled with it and was just like, you know what? If this is my team, this is my team. And if I can win like this, then we're going to do it.
Hey, and that's what it's all about. We're going to take a quick break, but when we come back, we'll talk about Lily's game day routines and life beyond softball. This is her why. Family, isn't it about sports? At least that's the case in my family. We're all about family and sports on the Royal Legacy podcast, hosted by yours truly. We dive deep into the family connections of the Cougars who played and coached at BYU. New episodes every Thursday on the BYU Radio app or wherever you catch your podcasts. Welcome back to Her Why. I'm Lauren McClain with BYU senior softball player Lily Owens. Lily, what does a typical game day look like for you? What do you do to prepare for a game?
I've tried to nail down a pretty solid routine, but it kind of gets moved around depending on if we're away or home. But usually something that I really try to do is turn off social media and outside distractions and kind of just focus on where I'm at. That's really helped me just kind of focus more on the moment and getting ready for a game. Something else that I do is I have a teammate, Maddie Udall, one of my best friends. Her and I, like as a team, we go to the grocery store together. We always grab some Alani's. It's our drink before a game. We have to have an energy drink before a game. Like that is it. So an Alani peach flavor is my go-to every game day, home or away.
You got to get it.
I got to get ready. Yeah.
How do you stay calm before big games? Because I know all the sports psychology is like keep yourself calm until right as you're about to go out on the field, right? So what's something that keeps you really calm right before the game?
More recently, my grandmother passed away, and that kind of has really put life into perspective for me. She passed away in February, so that was kind of like right in the middle of our beginning of season. And that just, again, really just put life into perspective for me. Like, this is a game, and as much as I hope and pray to do absolutely amazing every time I step on that field, it doesn't define who I am, and it doesn't change the outcome or the trajectory of my life. So that really calms me when I start to think about that. And I really think about the little girl that I was when I would go to softball games with her, and she would, take me to every practice and every game and went to every away, out-of-state trip. She went to everything with me. So that really just centers me and puts me back down into where I need to be.
I know you were really close to your grandma. Is there something that you do each game, even within your mind, to honor her every time you step on the field?
I talk to her a lot. I really, I think that's really important. My mom, at first I kind of was like not willing to talk to her and then not hear a response just yet, but I've really worked on that a lot more, and I try to talk to her every day before a game.
You mentioned that your grandma and your mom are two of the strongest women that you've ever been around. What is it about them that you try and emulate and implement into your own life?
Their resilience. Like, I have seen both of them go through some of the toughest things that anybody could go through, and every time they come out even stronger, and they learn something from it every time. And that is just, it's just so inspiring to me. Like, my mom always talks about, like, I would bet on me. I would bet on myself every time, and that's something that I always take with me through everything. So anytime something gets hard on the field and I go, well, I would bet on me. I would rather be in this situation, and I trust myself every time.
They sound like the coolest
They really
people.
are.
I feel like I need a motivational speech from your mom.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're so proud of you. You've done some incredible things. Let's talk even about academically what you've done. You're studying political science. What drew you towards that major specifically?
I grew up with my grandmother a lot, and she loved watching Law and Order or like Blue Bloods and things like that. And that was how I spent a lot of my time with her. And as a little girl, I really enjoyed all of those things. And I ended up wanting to be a lawyer, and that's something that I still would like to do. So that was kind of my drive for poli-sci.
Wow. So your grandma even influenced what you could possibly be doing for the
Yes.
rest of your life.
Yes.
So you want to go to law school. Have you applied to any schools yet?
Not yet. I'm in the process of studying for the LSAT.
Okay.
Yeah.
What do you want to do after softball once your playing career is over? Is it being a lawyer? Is it being a politician? What do you want to do?
I'm looking at law right now since I'm studying for the LSAT. So hopefully very soon I can start applying to places and taking the LSAT and then, going on with life from there.
What skills do you feel like you've learned from softball that will translate over into maybe the law and things that you want to do afterwards?
I think one, resilience and being tough and getting knocked down a few times, but then being able to pick myself back up and, working even harder, as well as just thinking outside the box. Like softball is not perfect, and I've always been told it's never black and white. You can always find that gray area and that middle ground of something. So it's really influenced me to think outside the box and to, just use my abilities in other ways.
When you look back at your whole journey from Chino Hills to Lehigh University in Pennsylvania to BYU in Provo, Utah, what's meant the most to you?
I think the people that I've met along the way, life is never easy, and it's not something that we're meant to do alone. And the people that I've met and the friends that I've gained and, longtime family friends are people that will be in my life forever and have influenced me and supported me and have been there for me when I've been at my lowest and at my highest. Those people are who I am so blessed to walk out a softball with.
I'm here with BYU senior softball player Lily Owens. Lily, you are incredible. Thank you for taking the time. Good luck this season to you and your teammates. Thanks again for coming on.
Thank you so much.
Thanks to Garrett Glauser for producing this episode and senior producer Cleon Wall. Her Why is a production of BYU Radio.